What's up, all my Fiberglass crew? Today's video, we're working with fiberglass again. See? Got the glove on. Actually, I'm going to wait for this part right here to cure because I'm going to show you in just a moment what the part is we're working on. Oh heck, let's just show it to you. So I made me a cool custom cover to go over top of my transfer case and where the drive shaft mounts in right there. My original thought is I wanted a removable cover in case I wanted to work on it from top down instead of crawling underneath it. That's really going to be dependent upon how I frame in the metal work. It's going to come around this for my shifter and all that stuff. We'll get to that on a later video. But for today's video, I just want to show you guys how you can use fleece to make custom shapes with fiberglass. So if it's the first time you guys landing on PowerX YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button because now I've got a fiberglass series going on. I've repaired Jeeps, modified Jeeps, cars, motorcycles, trucks, cars, whatever. But now I've got fiberglass series going on because I've seen a need out there for a lot of people not knowing how to do custom shaping of fiberglass or fiberglass repair. I've got a CJ7 hardtop on that right there that I've been working on. I've got a YJ hardtop I'm going to be doing a project on before too long. So lots of fiberglass. Hit that subscribe button if you want to learn how to do that glass. So subscribe, hit that little bell notification button so you don't miss a thing. Alright, let's get on with this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we need to take the section off that we're going to do the panel with. What I'm doing is right through here, this section here, right there. Now, probably at a later time, I'm going to end up putting some angle iron, probably 1-inch angle iron right through here, because my seat mounts is coming off these bars here. So I may have to move this flange inward 1 inch, 2 inches, something like that. But I'm going to do the full square on this panel we're making. So in the event, you know, if it's full width, I can always shorten it. It's easier to shorten a panel than it is to make it longer, obviously. So we need to take this bad boy off. Whenever you use tape, make sure whenever you're doing stuff like this with fiberglass, and you're using tape as a way of mold release in a way, I guess, you want a super high tack tape because therefore, if the resins soak into the paper tape, it doesn't pull loose from your metal. Okay, next we need to pull out the tape measure. We're going to measure how much material we need to cut. That's about 2 feet there, but am I measuring that correctly? Am I? No, I'm not. Because if I'm just 2 feet across that, I need my material to come across this, up this, over this, back down. So these heights right here is going to add more to your material length. So you can make this oversized. It doesn't matter because we're going to trim off the excess. So if that's 2 feet, for kicks and giggles, we're going to make it, what the heck. We'll go for 2 foot. 3 foot's way overkill. Let's go for 2'6". What the heck. Because that should give us, I'm going to go for about 2'8". Because that'll give me plenty of excess overhang and I can trim off what I don't need. 2'8" by 25 inches. Good stretch high there. Let's go out to 28 inches. Okay, I've got my top secret material all cut out over there, but I want to do a couple more things. I'm going to lay me some braces in with my tape. Come in right here, lay it overlap so it gets a good tight bond. Bring it back, stretch your tape kind of tight. Follow your radius up right here. Right there's where your tangent point is. Take your tape, just on that side of the tangent point, bring it back. Make your edge right there, bring it over, boom. Metal rolls up, stops right there, and I folded my tape against itself, so swipe it over a little bit, like that. Bring it back, let it touch right there on that radius to form your little radius a little bit. Bring it down, tear it off, and put your one in the middle. Daggone it. Come off the top of this, tangent point coming down right off the top of that bolt. So right there, create your little radius, bring it down. Now, just to make life a little easier on yourself, now we got these edges right here. We could have laid this right here down first, to be honest with you. But lay your supports in first. You got a long panel. Lay these in, then this piece. And now what I want to do is run me another piece across the top of this to keep from the resin running under the tape and making it easier to pull off. And here's our top secret material. Ta-da! It's just fleece. Oh, we got this upside down too. Oops. Put it this way. Fleece has very, very good stretchy properties. It absorbs liquids very well. So it is a good candidate to make panels with. Okay, kind of get somewhat ballpark laid out how you want it and everything. That looks pretty. Take this edge right here, because remember I want my tree right here in the middle, so get my tree kind of centered. My tape's trying to roll under that edge right there, so you can pull it back. See how it's rolling? Flatten it back out. Roll that over easily. Pick it up. There we go. Now we're going to take this front edge, roll it backward like this. Now when you put your hot glue on, don't go just zigzags, because you don't want that. Simply because whenever you start stretching the material out, your material is going to do weird stuff. So whenever you do a zigzag like this, wherever it's up here and here, the trough and the crest, it's going to create lines through your stretch. So you don't want to do that. You want to draw you a straight line. Now here's your tangent point right here. We're going to draw a line here, across here, and here. Then stick our glue down. Then stick that edge down. Then we're going to take another one, come right across here. So basically what you want is a square right here on top of your metal to hold it in place. And see if we can pull this off. You gotta work fast because this glue starts setting up on you pretty quick, because I'm using the high bond stuff to make it stay. Make sure you got no voids, because voids is going to cause weird stretchy spots. Take your material, and remember it's just on those tangent points, and lay it across like that. And crap, what I do with it? Oh, I'm taking an old junk card here, mash it down against that glue. Now what we want to do is, don't worry about it through here yet. We want our material to stretch back this way now. So now I got to get probably up in the middle of the frame here to do it easily. Stretch your material back at you. Pull it out. Just kind of see my tree is running right down the middle here. I started to get me some minion or some kind of cool cartoon character, but hey, I already had this, so lay that back. Because remember, I stretched it because I'm using that tape underneath there. That tape has got a little bit of a sticky edge to it, which is helping maintain my alignment. So now I'm going to roll this back here. Now you lay my glue through here. Right through here. I don't know why I use a trigger. If you just take the back end of the glue and push, it does a lot better. Alright, take the material, stretch along that radius up there, here, lay it down against it. Where I was pulling, I had my fingers positioned where if you was to project a line straight through there, you're hitting that radius. The thing about working with hot melt, you got to work quick because it wants to set up on you, because that's just the nature of what it does. It cools off. Okay, let me zoom back a little bit. And now I've got you guys a different camera angle. What I was doing, okay, I glued up here first, pulled my material back this way, and where I was pulling, if you project from your radius here and radius here, where the tape comes back right here and here, that's where I was pulling my stretch at, because then it helps form the tangent points of your radius through here, okay? So we got that going on. Those are staying put. Now we need to go back up to the corners. Now we need to do this radius, make it form it down around that radius. So we're going to lay this back to where that glue contact is up here. Now we got to do this right here. Take our glue, push it here, and just to that point of that radius there. Let that part of the glue set up. Yes, let's check our material. Yep, we're good. Bring it back a little bit. Come right through here, draw your line here. Come down this way and come across. There. Take your material, stretch it down over top of that, hold it. Sometimes it'll soak through the material and it'll make you like, whoa, it's hot. Alright, so get that. Yeah, it's soaking through the material, so it's a little warm and toasty. Okay, that's setting up. Okay, so pull this back, because now we need to bring it over this way. And give me another glue stick. And take your line. Right there, got that. Take the material and the same old gig, stretch it right over top of it. Now when you take your material, kind of pull it back and tug a little bit, see how our radius is flowing. Okay, we got our tape flattened out there. Let's roll this back. And remember, we're glued all the way up to here now, so now we need a good line this line here. Get up underneath here. Material. Turn tape. Come along this right here, stretch. So I laid me 2 glue lines, one right there, then one right there to hold it in place. So now I'm gonna come back here and stretch this defect out and get that glued in. You can see I can stretch that out right there and make it pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna glue this back corner right here in, roll this back here. So I got a little spot of glue there. Okay, so we're gonna take our line, glue it in here. Stretch our material back, stretch that wrinkle out of it, bring it back, roll it over like this, flatten it out. Now you got your fleece pretty well contoured. Now I got the glues right here down, it's going to bubble up. Okay, before we start wetting this thing out, I just want to show you guys, I took some tape, take the material, stretched it out, because as I wet it down, the material is going to get heavier with all the resin being soaked into it, so I didn't want any kind of weight of it being pulled down. The hot melt glue should not turn loose, but just for precautionary measures, laying the tape in there to help keep everything in shape as I lay the resin into it. So let's get our resin and get it mixed up. The only thing I'm using is just old discarded peanut butter jars. Now here's the resin from the kit. Like I said, I'm going to keep on using this resin. It's actually pretty decent stuff. Now if you guys have been paying attention to my past videos, I've been using little tiny bits of resin, probably like 1/4 cup servings you might say. Use a little bit more this time, simply because this stuff soaks a lot of resin. But you don't want to fire up too much and risk losing the mix. Look, I got a paintbrush, I let it harden. Oops! So we use it for a stir stick. Okay, I'm going to use my catalyst, my industrial style catalyst stuff. Because like I said, the catalyst that comes with this kit from Polymer Planet is what they call a summertime, I guess. Because it's a slow kicking catalyst. I'm used to this industrial stuff. It kicks pretty quick. So you see I've got probably 1.25 inch depth of resin. Watch how much catalyst I put in. I know this is very scientific, isn't it? And that was probably about 2 teaspoons of catalyst. And let's give it a little kiss again. Because I don't have to worry too much about rolling out bubbles. I'm just soaking that material, so I can afford to get a little bit more catalyst to run with. Mix it up good. I may end up having to mix up more resin, which is okay. I'd rather not have enough first round than fire up too much and lose it and waste a bunch of it. So now, start painting this stuff in. Well, people, I totally forgot to move the camera. So what we did here is we fired up our resin, as you see me over on the corner on my rock slider, and just simply take your brush and start rolling into your material. Through here is my 1-inch tube. Right here, make sure you're soaked on both sides of it. Right here is my 1.5 inch tube. Make sure you're soaked in there, get inside that radius right there. Then you're coming all the way back through here. That's my 1.5 inch coming across the back. Now what you want to do is you don't want to just have paddles really hit anywhere and everywhere. Just get on one side, get your tubing wet, then come back this way. So in the event you end up having to lose your resin because it kicked off on you, whatever, you've got a good definitive line to pick up on the next batch. Soak that stuff down, because this fleece will soak resin up heavy. And you can see places, it's partially where the hair on the fleece is folding over, but you can also see places kind of where the resin is not soaking into the fleece. So don't be afraid to lay this stuff in, because you need it in there. And on the tubing, you see how I'm taking my brush, packing it into it, pushing it into the material. And I'll stress again too, you notice I've got my safety glasses on, because if this does splash back in your face, you will not be a happy camper. You see, I've already went through over half the resin that I've mixed up, which is going to end up being about right, because my 1-inch tube is about right there. So now I'm going to jump to the other side, because I fired this stuff on last week. And for those of you who don't know what that means I fired it pretty daggone hot to make it kick quick. And down in these crevices, radius where I packed that material, and you take your brush, pack it into that radius right there. Looks like I might have to mix me up with more juice. There it is. Maybe not. Work the tube, right there's the tube. And watch, see when I done that right there? That's bad, don't do that. Your stretch is this way. Keep your brush rolling that way you don't get your material knocked off cattywampus. And if you want to get all decorative, now take your brush, lay all your hairs back one direction. Okay, I've got a little bit of resin left. Let's check the other side. And it helps too if you're not wearing tinted safety glasses. Pour me a little bit of acetone for the brush.
In what?
The big jar right there. Right, that'll work. Because I can feel this brush getting tacked. After about a week, I'm finally getting to come out here and work on this thing a little bit. Let's pull this thing off. Now you see, it's taking on its shape. It's not super rigid, but we're about to fix that part. So whenever you pull it, don't get crazy rough with it. So now what you want to do is put your fingers under it and pull easy on it. Just enough to make it release, but you don't want to flex it. Now you just want to finesse it up. You don't want to like, okay, manhandle it and pull it and stuff like that. Because this cloth right here, it doesn't have a whole lot of strength by itself. That's why you need the fiberglass mat underneath it, which we'll be adding here in just a bit. Now, the tape is what's sticking now, so I'm going to take my finger and tear the tape underneath here. side. And there's that side. And there it is. Whee! Now go around all the places where the hot melt glue was, pull all that out of there, because that'll interfere with whenever you lay down the material. Before I lay in the material, I have to brace these little wing areas up where it's flat that kicks up, because they're wanting to flex a lot. So I took a piece of scrap metal here, got a piece of angle iron underneath there to support that. Now I've got my cloth cut to size right now. Cloth by itself is weak. A lot of people go into the auto parts stores or your hardware stores and they'll buy the little can of resin and it's got that little squirt tube of catalyst in the top of it. And they'll pick up, ooh, I like that material right there because it's nice and shiny. That'd be good material to work with. This stuff by itself is weak. So do not use cloth by itself on anything. Even though I've got to cut to size right now, it's because it's my cloth is it eases the workability of mat. If you take just mat down here and you take your paintbrush like it's right here and work with mat, you end up bunching it up, the mat gets spread out all over the place. But what cloth does for you, lay down the mat first, lay down the cloth, take your brush and hold the material, boom, 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 like that. It allows you to work the air out of the mat by using the smoothness of the cloth. Cloth is nothing more really than a cosmetic type material. If you look at houseboats, if you walk onto a houseboat like Gibson's, Harbor Master molds their decks, but it's like a Gibson, for instance. If you walk on the deck, on the catwalks and stuff, if you look at the top of the deck really close, you'll see paint, the white paint, but you'll see specks. It can be specked blue, it can be specked whatever color. But look between the specks, if you look real close, you'll see this texture right here. That is what they use to lay on the decks of Gibson houseboats. Then they paint them, then they come back and spec them. So now I'm going to cut me some mat to go underneath this right here. Got my mat, got my resin sitting there waiting on me, got my catalyst sitting right here waiting on me, but I need to do one more thing before I fire this stuff up, because once you fire this stuff up, it's time to rock and roll. You ain't got time for nothing else. I have to test fit this. Why would I have to test fit this? I just pulled it off there. Simple. Remember, we're using nothing but this cloth material right here right now. This stuff stretches, it conforms, it twists, it does all kinds of weird stuff. And remember, we're doing the cloth and the mat to make it have some strength and rigidity. So I set it back on there. It's conforming to this greatly because it's got these little places right here that's locking into. But the flat sides through here, look, I've got a piece of bar stock here, and a piece of angle iron there. Why do I have that? Simple. Because now that I've trimmed off all that excess edge off here, this is wanting to bow up and twist and stuff like that, because like I said, we're putting this mat and cloth on to give it some rigidity. See how it's sitting up here? So my game plan has to be, once I get that material right there laid on the bottom of that, before it cures out, I got to bring it over here, set it on this, set it in place, set this metal on the edges right there to hold it down flat so it stays conformed to that metal frame. Got poured me a little bit of resin here. I've got maybe like maybe a cup. If you was to measure it out in a measuring cup, about a cup there. So in my fancy dancy high-tech stir stick here, and get my paintbrush ready. People, like I said, once you throw the catalyst to this, it's time to rock and roll, and there ain't no looking back, because this stuff will cure out on you while you're working. Again, I'm not taking, get off me tape. I'm not taking the material all the way out here to the edge yet. We'll be doing that later. Not that it really matters to this, but the voices in my head are arguing like crazy right now. Because normally whenever I work with mat and cloth both together, I put 2 mats under a cloth. Because, again, the mat is stronger than the cloth. The cloth is merely a working aid in cosmetics. The reason I use the 2 mats is because it's stronger, because I've done so many houseboats, the decks, like the sun deck, the catwalks and stuff like that. I've done so many of them, it's just instinctive for me to put 2 mats underneath that, then lay the cloth over top of it. But my goal is here is just to give this thing right here some rigidity, some strength, but not make it like super rigid right now. So, Again, I know I'm hesitating right now because I'm looking, double checking, because once I fire this stuff I got to rock and roll. Resin's there, got my catalyst over there, brush in hand, materials cut. Let's do this. Okay, I put a little bit of catalyst in. It's going to be probably a half a teaspoon. Come on. Maybe that's a little bit more. Whoops. That's what my dad and I call whenever we're working together, that if you fire too much and you realize how much is in there, we look at each other, okay, this fired on yesterday or it's fired on last week or whatever. Well, I just fired this one on last month, I believe. Which means it's going to kick off super fast, which means I got to hustle. What I really should do is not teach you guys these bad habits. I work with this stuff so much that I kind of can run with it when it's fired hot. But for you newbies, I really need not to teach you this way because it's teaching you bad habits. I need to order some fancy little measuring equipment and stuff like that to give you guys the proper way to measure stuff out. See all these little strings, just throw them off to the side. Get your mat position, or your cloth position over the mat as best as possible. It don't have to be perfect. Now if I was working with a squeegee right now, if it was a big flat area, I'd be working with a squeegee instead of a paintbrush. You can take a squeegee like you put on graphics on a car or something. You just go back and forth, you can push that resin around like a Michelangelo painting that resin. Okay, let me get me some more juice. See, now you take and just push the resin into the cloth and the mat. You see the mat staying kind of wide underneath it. And just take brush, and that's why the cloth is an asset to you. You can take that resin and push it around. Now another thing you do too that can make life a little bit easier on you, I'm showing you this way because it's easier to work the brush. The flip side to it is if you take and put the resin on top of the mat first, saturate the mat, then lay the cloth, it tends to go a little faster, but the workability is easy because you can easily take your mat and be pushing around with a brush, and next thing you know you've got a big bunch of hairballs bunched up. So kind of messing with me because I keep thinking, oh, I got air, but it's really that those leaves in the pattern right here. I keep thinking I got air, and it's actually those leaves and coming through that print. Okay, juice it up some more. Now somebody's gonna have to say, why don't you just fire it all up at once, everything you need? Because I'm firing this stuff kind of on the warm side, and if I fire a big batch of it like that, I don't want to lose it no more than I have to. Because yes, even though I've worked this stuff a lot, I have many times this stuff kick off on me while I'm in the process of using it. Matter of fact, I've got a chunk right here somewhere that I may show you guys in a moment of a batch that kicked off on me. And like I said, this right here is just a strength coat. This does not have to be pretty. We're just getting this material to adhere to that fleece to give it some rigidity. That is our goal for this right here. And see, I want to trim it back because it's going to be peeking up right there. It's not going to lay down correctly. You see, here's a prime example of how that's actually the strings out of the cloth. But if you were doing that with mat, you would get little balls like that. So whenever you work with the mat, let me pull this back. I'll show you guys real quick. So where's a good place for me to do this? See, it needs a little bit more saturation over here. So I'm gonna pull this cloth back a little bit. Okay, if you're working with just the mat, make sure the camera sees this. You're gonna take the mat, don't drag your brush. Keep hitting it like this right here. Now you see me do like that after me telling you not to, but what my brush was barely touching, so all I'm thinking I'm really doing is leveling out the resin to sit on top of the mat. So once you get that saturated, then you take your cloth and you lay it back over. But you have to push it like this. Kind of like if you were laying down window tint or decals or something like that. Then you take the brush, hold the material here. You take the brush and push it across that cloth, and you're working the air out of it. Yeah, and some of you seasoned fiberglass people say, well, why don't you just use a roller? Well, because I don't want to right now. You wouldn't use a roller on cloth, but you can use it on mat. Okay, I need to juice up some more, and I need to cut that before it gets cured on me. See, it's going to lay down there, so I need to cut a little triangle out of that. There's that. That. So it can lay down better. Yeah, it will. Alright, juice it up some more. Get my fancy dancy stir stick, stir it up good. See, with these curves up there, you can't drag your brush on the cloth because then you'll drag the air into it. So then you take your brush, and like the curves like this, I'm taking the brush and pushing the cloth down to fill in that curve. Then I'll take the edge of the brush and pack it like it's right here, which packs the air out of it. Ta-da! And drag to even out your resin. There's a little air, drag, pop that out. And let's see. That piece right there laying down. Now when we get ready to lay the really heavyweight strength stuff in, I will grind this back a little bit to roughen it up, because you don't want to lay, had to wait for the car to go through, you don't want to lay another layer of glass on top of cloth. Cloth is inherently kind of smooth once it cures out. And I say kind of smooth, it's not perfect obviously, but you can't, or you shouldn't, let me put it to you that way, lay another layer of glass over top of cloth, because it does have the possibility of delaminating or the glass separating off the cloth. So what we'll have to do is when we lay down the strength layer of glass is we'll have to grind it a little bit to roughen it up to give the next layer of glass a good bite, a good physical bite. So I've got that air packed out, taking drag, even out your resin a little bit. Saturate it down right here. And what I'm doing, you see me push like this, we see it picks the material up, it causes bubbles under it. But whenever I push it down, it's pushing the resin into the mat. Then you drag the brush, which takes the air out of the cloth. There we go. My camera battery died. Okay, so while I'm going to put this stuff on me, we'll go up the head. Okay, see I've already laid the tape down right there. I'm taking this, holding on to it, just kind of loosely holding it right there. Again, it's not set up, so it's still a bit flexible. And as long as you got it mashed down good air, stuff like that, it's not going to fall off apart. See, now we just get it laid over like that, tuck it into its corners where it goes, and take our metal, sit on top right there. So I'll give you guys some zoom action. You got a little viewpoint there. And my other piece of metal fell down the middle of nowhere. Lay that on that edge to flatten that out. Mr. Intelligence. I should lay that there first. Flatten that. See, that's got a little bit of flex there, so I need to put some on top of this. This includes part 1 of 3 parts of the transfer case cover. First part, as you see, I introduced you guys to how easy it is to work with fleece. Awesome stuff. Once I start doing door panels, that stuff is awesome for that. Custom speaker shapes, placing your tweeters where you want them, all kinds of wicked cool stuff. Love working with fleece. It's weak by itself, that's why you should use the fiberglass mat to strengthen it up. But for making the primary contour, the stuff is awesome. Part 2 is going to introduce you guys to stitch mat, and we'll wait to start part 2 before we go into the whole description about that. Stitch mat is a material that most of your home users are not gonna use, and well, like I said, part 2 you guys will see that. Part 3 will be whenever I lay the metal work in to tie it to the frame and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're not going to discuss all that. You'll see the video when it releases. That part 3 or maybe a little bit later down the road, because I've got some more work I want to do that top on this thing. I've got a YJ top I want to do a little bit of work to it, so this right here, we'll get to it. So everyone, if you enjoyed that video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave me some cool comments. And it's gotten doggone chilly out here. Well, I'm actually shooting the next day, this exit stuff, so Tennessee weather. You can be out in a t-shirt one day and freeze your tail off the next. Alright everyone, if you enjoyed this part 1 video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave some cool comments down below, tell me some stuff you want to see done with fiberglass. Alright, so we're going to finish this editing as a video so I can get it out to you guys. Peace out. Later y'all.